Okay, so we're going to see how well this works out. I have a new setup. I'm actually using an external mic now instead of using the speakers on my webcam. So we're going to get into this. Okay, so apparently there's this series called Shrill. It's appeared on Hulu. I thought that it was a relatively new series. It came out last year, I believe, around March. But it's new to me, so I thought it's only 6 episodes. Let me see what this is all about. And so initially when I started watching it, I was like, okay, it's dealing with the theme of a plus-size woman. It's a plus-size white woman who's basically, as you can see as the first episode goes on, who has serious self-esteem issues. And so I'm thinking, okay, because if you've seen my other reviews, then you would know that I actually reviewed Insatiable, which had a similar theme. So I'm thinking, okay, let's see how this is going to compare. Now, what I can say is that this story is more relatable, I would say, than the Insatiable. Now, I'm not saying that there are people who have those struggles. Obviously, I'm plus size. I'm considered plus size myself. And, you know, there are certain things that you deal with. But I do feel like in watching this show, well, at least the first episode, it's more relatable to me and more realistic. It's something that I can see, okay, I can actually see that happening. Okay, so the story basically follows this woman named Annie. She is a journalist. I think her title she works for the Weekly Thorn in her town, is publication, and her title is assistant calendar editor. Okay, but of course she wants to do more. She wants to branch out. She actually wants to report on real stories. But again, this all ties into her self-esteem and being able to ask for what she wants in a way that I think people can take serious. Okay, so it starts out, of course, Annie, it's the morning time. Annie is getting ready for work. She puts on this ugly sweater. You see that basically the photo behind me is what she wore. That's what she put on. That's a hideous sweater. But she did something that I thought was like, I think I've done that before, where the shirt was fitting a little snug, and so she kind of kneeled down and put it over her knees to kind of stretch it out so it wouldn't be as clingy. So I'm like, I wonder if I've done that before. I want to believe I have done that before. But so she's dressed and she's going to work. And so she's talking to her friend Marty, something like, I can't remember. But she's basically talking about this story that she's interested in writing. And he's trying to get her help her build the confidence to go and talk to their boss to ask if she can write this piece. And the owner and the editor, his name is Gabe. And Gabe is just an ornery, it seems like he's just been in the game so long that he just really doesn't, he's just so, he's rude, he's ornery, he just can't be bothered. And so she goes, actually backtrack a little bit. Okay, so this is an interesting point in the show. So, as she was getting dressed, she was talking to she has a roommate named Fran. And so Fran comes into the kitchen and she's eating, Annie's eating one of these prepackaged meals that look like crap, okay? And so of course Fran looks at her and is like, oh, okay girl, whatever. But, so she leaves work and she actually goes to this coffee shop. And so she puts her order in, she's waiting for a coffee. And so she sees on the bulletin board that this woman, she has a poster up saying she offers personal training. And so she took a photo of the ad, but the woman who posted the ad, she was still in the coffee shop. So she was like, oh, all you had to do was say hi or something. So she kind of snuck up on her. Obviously, she didn't know the lady was there. And so this woman, in her attempt to help Annie, was very rude and very intrusive. And she, I forget what happened, but she ends up she put her arms around Annie's wrist. And she was like, oh, your wrists are really thin. And she was like, Annie was like, oh, okay. And so she said, it seems like, she said, you're a thin person. And an oversized body. And so Annie was like, oh, well, I hope the thin person in me is okay in there. So she's like trying to make jokes because it's an uncomfortable situation. Remember, they're in the coffee shop, they're in a public place. And so she just wouldn't stop. I mean, anyone who could read body language and understand human nature could see that Annie was uncomfortable, and yet she continued to force this. Well, I offer training, and it's never too late for you to be the healthy person that you can be, and it's not healthy to be buried under all this weight. And now, again, in the public place, Annie's now on the spot. This woman is talking to her, like I said, very rude and intrusive, and that is one of the downsides of the fitness community. At least that negative aspect of it, where this is a complete stranger and you walk up to her in a public place and basically put her on the. Did you do that? I felt so bad for her. That was just so rude and intrusive. But she eventually got her coffee, and there was a woman she was sitting there waiting for her coffee. So as Annie reached for her coffee, the woman said something to her, and I think the woman said that was so rude or something. She was like, oh well, she just brushed it off like it was nothing. You couldn't say that she was embarrassed, but she just made a joke like people do when they're in uncomfortable situations. And the woman was like, oh, you're so funny. You remind me of Rosie O'Donnell. And so the barista said, every time you come here, that's what I think of. Does she remind me of Rosie O'Donnell? Okay, so I take that however you want to take that. But when they said it, I think the first thing people will go to is, wait, because Rosie O'Donnell is a plus size woman. She has her funny moments too, but it was just like in that moment, I think she took away from that. Of all the people that you could relate me to would be a plus size comedian. So now she's at work. She's already had a conversation with the media. She's going into the Gabe's office to talk to him about doing this article. He basically shot her down, basically like, you need to pay your dues, and basically told her to get out of his office. That was just basically that. So she get back to her office, and there's a text from someone named Ryan. And so it just says Ryan, and then it says fuck. So she has this smile on her face, like, okay, my cousin, this is somebody she knows. So the next thing you know, she's having this encounter with Ryan. I didn't think they would show it, but they were having sex, and he wanted to take the condom off, which initially she said no, but then she allowed him to do it. How many women can relate to that? And she starts talking to him about, she was like, well, you really should get 2 pillows in case I want to stay, and can we meet up later for dinner? And he was like, no, I can't, I'm busy, and then you hear this noise, and then she said she has to get back to work. And so he says, my roommates, I don't really let them all in my business. So can you go out the back door again? This is a man that she wants to have a relationship. It looks like it's just for him, it's just a sexual relationship, but she wants to get a little bit more. The fact that he said again, obviously isn't the first time that he has screwed her and then booted her out the back door, which again, she feels, you can see in her face that she feels like shit, but again, she doesn't say anything. She was like, oh, okay, like she's trying to be understanding. And again, that goes back into her self-esteem or lack of self-esteem and her self-worth and what she feels is acceptable and unacceptable behavior. And so he ends up shuffling her out the back door, and then he has to say, well, give me a kiss. So she gives him a kiss, and then she closes the door. She goes out the back. She ends up having to fling her purse over the gate and actually climb over the gate and falls over. And so the next time you see her, she's covered in like debris, right? So she's now home. Fran is giving some woman a haircut, and then we find out that Fran is English. She is tall. I think she looks like she's taller than the average. I'm about 5'8". She looks like she can be taller than me. She's dark skinned. She's plus size, and we find out that she's a lesbian. And so she's giving this woman, this blonde petite woman, a trim, and the woman who she usually pays her in like wood. She doesn't pay her in money. And so Fran's kind of flirting with her a little bit, but then they say they revise, and then she's like, let me see what she's paid me with now. So what's a bunch of clothes? And so I things she keeps, some of the things she gives to Annie. And so it was a particular red dress that she was saying, well, you probably would fit this. And she was like, well, I don't know if I can fit that. You know, it still has a security tag on it. So whether this woman actually stole it or she bought something that was boosted and it still has security is anybody's guess. But then we find out that Fran, she's actually seeing two women. And so they kind of go into a back and forth about that a little bit and have a conversation. And one of the women, you see it hears someone knock at the door, and Fran was like, oh, that's, what was her name, Sarah or something, I don't know, but we never get to see Sarah. And so Annie ends up going to the drugstore. She feels like something's off, you know. Now Annie goes to the drugstore and she gets a pregnancy test. Okay, so after her encounter with Ryan and him taking the condom off, she went to the drugstore to get Plan B the morning after. Okay, so now she's still feeling off, so she now goes back to the drugstore to get a pregnancy test. She goes into the public laboratory at the drugstore, sits on the toilet because that's disgusting, but okay, whatever. And she takes this test. So she comes out of the bathroom with this test with her piss on it, and she goes to the pharmacist counter and say, I want to return this because this is defective. And she's like waving this shit around with her piss on. I'm just like, okay, the pharmacist is like, well, how is it defective? Well, it's saying that I'm pregnant and I can't because I took the morning after pill. And the woman was like, well, are you over 175 pounds? And she said, well, yeah. She said, well, I'm sorry, it doesn't work for women who are over 175 pounds. And so this is where we get into, you find out how her lack of self-worth has contributed to her irresponsible decisions. And so she's like, well, what do you mean? When I came in to buy the test, the guy who was here before, why did he not tell me that this wouldn't work for me? And so the pharmacist was like, oh, that you mean so-and-so? And she said, yes. She said, oh, he's terrible at his job. She's like, apparently, because, you know, the last 7 times I've come in to take this test, no one ever said that it would work for me. And so, I mean, I wouldn't know what she could do. She was just like, you know, that's just how it is. So I've never taken the morning after pill. I've never had a reason to take the morning after pill. So that was new to me. I was unfamiliar with that aspect of it. I didn't realize there was a weight requirement for that. I've never heard of that. But okay. So Annie, she's now back at work and she's texting Ryan, basically saying, I have to talk to you. And he sends her this emoji with the yellow face, and the yellow face is basically going to say no. And so she's like, I'm serious, I need to talk to you. And he texts her something else crazy, and then she just kind of brushes it off. So Annie has gone out with Fran. They're out at brunch or something, and she tells Fran what's going on, and Fran was like, well, I don't understand, what are you doing? You do not use birth control, and Annie was like, well, he likes the raw dog, and you know, Fran is a lesbian, so she was like, what? So he has to roll about raw dog, and you know, he likes it better that way, and I don't feel like I can tell him no. How many women can relate to that? And I just, you know, I let him, and I said, and you know, I do the morning after pill, but apparently it didn't work. And basically, Fran was telling her, you know, you need to have an abortion. And so Annie was like, well, you know, she never thought that, because her opinion of herself was so low, she never thought she would ever like meet somebody, and she never thought that she would even have the opportunity to have a child. And so Fran had to talk some sense into her. She was like, you know what, there are going to be many chances for you to have children, but it's not right now, especially with the guy who shuffles you out the back door. And so, you know, it's an emotional moment for a minute, and you know, at this point she's kind of going up and down. So Annie goes to her parents' house. It was unannounced. And so her mom is actually, I can't remember the woman's name who played Pat. I don't remember how many people who've watched who's going to see this video knows Pat. If you type in Pat, it's going to have this, you can't tell what it is. Like, I'm assuming which was the issue of which the point of the character. Pat has this black fro. It's heavy set. It's very Pat. Looks like a man, but it was kind of odd. I don't know. So that's the one person who's playing her mom. And the guy who plays her father is the guy from Home Alone. I can't think of his name, but he was the tall, skinny burglar. He plays her dad. And so she goes in and talks to her mom for a while. And then you find out that her father is going through radiation. And so she goes in and talks to her dad. You can see that she has a close relationship with her father. They're kind of raised in the middle. He was a musician. And, they talk a little bit and she asks him how he's doing. They kind of hug and they just listen to the music. You can see it was a really sweet moment. And so then you see her, she's kind of walking around her house and she's looking at all photos of herself from, the time that she was a young girl. And you can see that from the photos that she's, had a weight problem for a while. But what she also noticed in those photos was that, it wasn't an issue. Like it seemed like she was a happy kid. While she's looking at the photo, she can hear her parents in there. They're cackling about something. They just having a good time laughing about something. And so the next time we see her and friend are at the doctor's office, and she has decided to have the abortion. Now I know some people are going to be sensitive about that, but in this instance, in my opinion, it was the right thing for her to do. I'm like, this guy's a complete and total ass. He's just okay. So she has an abortion, and then it takes a couple of days, and so Fran is there by her side the whole time to support her. And then Fran walks up and she sees Annie. She's wearing that red dress. Now, how she got that security thing off of it is anybody's guess, but it's a cute red dress and it looked cute on her, and she just had a little pep in her step, and Fran was like, okay, I like this. I like she liked seeing her friend happy. And she asked how she was. She was like, she's good, she's okay, she's come to terms with her decision. In the end, she realized it was the right thing to do. And so next we see Ryan is in the living room, and he's in the living room with two other guys. He does some kind of podcast with. And she walks in through the front door, and he stops and looks at her, and she was like, I need to talk to you. She was like, hi, I'm Annie. I'm the woman that Ryan's been fucking. And so they go into his room, and she tells him that she was pregnant, and he's like, oh shit. And then he was like, then she said that I had an abortion. He was like, oh, thank God. And so she's sitting there looking up. He is really just an asshole. He was like, well, it seems like that was the best decision. I just can't do this again. And I just can't have another kid. And so she was like, another kid? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I told you I have a kid. He's 14. He lives with his mom somewhere. She said, no, you never told me you had a kid. She said, but this basically just proves the point that I didn't need to have a child with you. I shouldn't have to trap you in order for you to treat me like a human being. Because in her mind, she thought that if she had the kid, that somehow the dynamics of their relationship would change. Which, of course, I'm sure some women can relate to. Some woman who has done that and realized that it's done nothing but made their lives a lot worse. And so she said this just proves that we really don't know each other. And she got up and she was gonna walk away. He actually stopped, and then one time he said something that kind of seemed heartfelt. Was like, oh, but are you okay about the thing? And she was like, yeah, I'm okay. And she just walked out. And she finally, I guess, had the courage that she needed. She went in. Dave was talking to somebody about something, and she just butted into the conversation. She was like, I want to do the story about the morning after pill. And he just said no. And she was like, wait a minute, this is bullshit. You let this guy do a story about Molly, and then you let him do another story about return to Molly, and da-da-da-da. And I'm a far better writer than him. And she started to go like, no offense, but I'm better than you in a whole lot of ways. And he was like, you're really, he called her, she said, oh my God, you're such a bitch. And so this is Dave talking to her boss. And she was like, no, he said, I kind of like it. So she was like, can I do the story? He said no. He said no. And she's like, what? And then so, of course, eventually he said, you know what? I really don't care. So she ends up hugging him, and she was happy about the whole thing. And then her friend, immediately, he was kind of standing off to the side. He was like, like, congratulations. Okay, you get to show what you can do. And so now she has a little pep in her step. She's walking down the street, and she walks past this restaurant, and you see the lady who's the personal trainer. She's sitting there, she's knocking on the window. And so she comes out, and she's like, you never called me about the training. She's like, oh, well, I want to do. She said, well, you know, you could be healthy, da 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 da. And she said something, and then eventually, Annie basically says, fuck you. And the woman said, I said, what did you say? She was like, thank you, but no thank you. She said, I heard what you said, and I was just trying to help you, you fat bitch. And so Annie just walked away. She had a little smile on her face, and that was how the first episode ended. So it was a lot of drama in the first episode. So there's 5 more episodes. The episodes are only like 30 minutes, so I'm probably going to condense the other episodes, probably do like 2 episodes at a time. But yeah, it's actually a pretty good show so far. Now I don't know how things are gonna turn. You know, she could backslide. We don't know. So I'm gonna end this here, and I will talk to you guys later.